Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. I told you last time I'm going to bring my husband so that he'll talk about his experience back in Kenya. Here we are. This is my husband. Meet my husband. Yes, he has a lot to tell you, but not so much. We don't want to take all your time and we don't want to bore you with this story, but I'm sure it's going to be exciting to hear about this story. So I just want him to tell you about the dowry, and then our wedding, and then a little bit of his stay in Kenya for the 8 months he was there. I'm sure he had a good experience. Yes, very good experience. Husband.
Okay. Hi, I'm husband. And I guess I'm here to tell you a little bit about my time and my experience in Africa, in Kenya. And my wife told you, I think in the last video, about how we met, so I'll spare you that.
No, you might want to excite them of how they talk and all that, you know.
From my perspective.
But yeah, maybe if they hear from you, they'll know, because most people don't think that online relationships do work. But I told them it worked for me, that's why I'm here. So, yeah.
I'll just say one thing about the online dating when it comes to international. I'll just say one thing. A lot of times, if you're a guy on one of those sites, you'll have one conversation, and either halfway through or the next conversation you have with the young lady, there'll be some tragic story about why she needs money. And what I noticed about my wife here is she never asks, never. In fact, I was getting to be a little concerned because all the other ones were asking and she did not. But for me, it was just love at first sight. When I saw her, I knew I was going to marry her. So time notwithstanding. So anyway, we met online. Took a few years, several years for us to finally get together, and we did. I flew her from Kenya to Ghana, and I flew from California to Ghana. I got there the day before. Then I went to pick her up at the airport. A little side story about the airport. Since this would have been the first time we've seen each other, I was trying to find some flowers, and I literally had to run across the airport. Her plane had landed, and I had to run across the airport, run across the airport, up, down a long flight of stairs to find a little flower shop about a half mile down from on the other side of the airport, Ghanaian airport, maybe a quarter mile. So I got that, I was already sweating. Then I ran back and I had to cool myself down before she came out of the building for me to meet her. And I was lucky I was able to be there long enough to have calmed down. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, we met in Ghana. I proposed there. I bought the ring and I proposed there. I did have a lot of explaining to do as to why it took me so long to get there. And that's another story for another day, maybe or maybe not. So I flew her back to Kenya. I had to fly back to California, take care of some business. And then about a month later, I flew back to Kenya, Nairobi. And I got there one night. This was February, I think, February of 19, 13th, February 13th of 19. So I get there one night, and that was when a very interesting journey began for me in Kenya. From that night, I think 2-3 weeks later, we got married. After that night, right? Because it was 14th, yeah.
You're going to tell them about the dowry before the marriage, because we did the dowry before the marriage.
Well, the marriage is like a 3-step process that I experienced, right? The first step was I had to meet the family, and I had to tell the family what my intentions were and why I'm there. And I had to make promises that I would treat my wife with respect and honor and those sort of things. We had lunch that day, and I ate something I never had before called ugali. And I'll tell you the ugali story later. But that was the first week. That was the first weekend. The following weekend, her mother lives way out in the middle of the forest, middle of the woods.
It's the village. Don't say the middle of the, no, call it the village. Please.
She lives that way out in some obscure village way out in the middle of nowhere. We call it the boonies here, but she lives way out there. Anyway, we drove out there, and I had to buy some cattle. I had to buy a cow, and let's see, I had to fund some chickens and some other things, but I had to dress in a gown, kind of a ceremonial gown. And so I stayed in the hotel the night before. Then my driver came and picked me up. We picked up the cow, and then we drove back to her mother's estate, where her mother and part of her family were there. And guys, I had never experienced anything like that. It was the coolest thing ever. You drive up, and there's a lot of dancing going on, and singing like you see in the, I've never really even seen anything like that in the movies. It was kind of surreal.
It's really, Africa, man. It's Africa. That's how we roll.
It was cool. It was the coolest thing ever. And I felt like I guess I was the honored guest.
Oh yeah, you are the guest of honor.
I was the guest of honor. And for me, I'm a quiet guy, kind of down low in the corner. I don't really like a lot of attention, but in this case, there was all the attention was on me. In fact, I think they slaughtered a chicken just for me. And that chicken was alive about an hour before I got there. So
guys, he didn't even finish his chicken. He ate only a small piece, because in our tradition there's a special chicken. He's supposed to eat it, and if you don't finish, you have to carry it with you and go home with it wherever you're going. So we had to carry that chicken for him, which he tried to eat for the rest of the week but still didn't finish, which for someone else it would have been a meal for one day. Just finish it once for Robert. That was his part of experience, eating the whole chicken. He didn't even believe it when they put it in front of him.
Well, the thing is too, the chicken is cooked a little bit different down there. It's a lot more rubbery because it's the real chicken. Here they shoot up steroids, but that's another story for another time. So, but it was actually pretty good. There's a lot of talking, and I wasn't allowed to do a lot of the talking. I had kind of I guess like a lawyer guy or a representative of my interests who sat next to me. I don't know what that person is called, but I had to be quiet. And I can only speak maybe once. Spokesperson. He
needed to have a spokesperson because he was not able to come with his family here, so that they will talk on his behalf. You guys, you know how it goes in Africa. From his side, he was supposed to have at least like maybe his parents or brother who talk on his behalf, but because they couldn't make it at home, so we found someone, a friend who was by his side, so that he'll take him through the process and tell him what to do and all that. But I had already prepared him, so he was aware of what was happening, but he saw everything. Everything happened. Everything was new. Actually, it was new because
it was brand new.
He's never gone through this experience before.
So many different things. But I spoke with, I guess, the rep of the village,
the elders.
The elders. I spoke with the elders. Very, very briefly. I signed a handwritten a contract that says that I brought dowry. And just so that you know what dowry is, because dowry is not done in America, so just a little bit of enlightenment for most of us here, brothers here in America. A dowry is when you bring some sort of an offering to the family of the bride that says, thank you for your daughter, and here's something in good faith. It's like an appreciation kind of thing. And so that's what the cow was, and the cow was that for me. So in the contract, they said we did receive your dowry, and thank you, and you have our blessings. And it's kind of like an unofficial marriage in a way. It's a traditional marriage. My wife is a Luya woman, so that was kind of a Luya type of ceremony. So the following weekend we did the government wedding, the government wedding was, well, we did that for two reasons. One, just to be married, but two, that was something that immigration was going to need as well. I would need to demonstrate that that we're actually married and we live together and that sort of thing. So that was kind of the 3-week thing as far as getting married. And so we were married on the first part of March of that year. And then the journey began. We did our honeymoon in a place called Masai Mara, which is kind of like a safari. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a world traveler. I've been to a lot of countries, been all over the world, and I have never experienced anything like Masai Mara. It's in the cabin that we had. It was up on the hillside overlooking the entire Mara. Mara, in what they call a Mara, we call a prairie here. Okay, in America, basically flatlands with a lot of grass and that sort of thing. So we stayed there for about a week, I think. It was a lot of fun. I'll say this though about that. One morning I woke up and I looked up into the sky, and that sky there in Africa is very different than the one here in America. That sky is full of colors, and this is at 5 in the morning, night, dark, but it's full of colors: yellow, orange, pink, blue, purple, and you can see the Milky Way clearly. And it's as if it's only maybe 100 feet above you. It was the most beautiful and also intimidating thing I've ever seen. But our last day, we got on a hot air balloon and flew over the jungle of sorts, and we had a good time. Came back, and then the journey begins. And I'll keep the story short for now, and maybe I can tell more, elaborate in certain parts of it. But I learned one thing about Kenya. Kenya, there's nothing straight about Kenya whatsoever. It's all about who you know and who you can bribe. I'm just telling the truth.
No, okay, fine.
Don't elaborate?
No.
It's all about who you know, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. But there's nothing straight about it. And I think one of the most frustrating things for me in that experience is that, see, I'm used to the way things are run here, where things are kind of, you know, regimented here in America, but there's nothing normal there in Africa. I love Africa. I love Kenya because of the landscape and most of the people. But there are just some other things that are there are a lot of culture shocks out there. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. If I need, I'm a businessman, I run a business. So if I need some office supplies, I jump in my car and I'll be right back. I'll be back in 15 minutes and I'll run to Staples and get some office supplies. In Kenya, if I want to do such a thing, I have to plan it out. I got to get a driver. I have to, I have to make sure that we're going at the right time of day, on the right day. And then I have to make sure that it's a very, very normal thing to get, and it's not something that they wouldn't have, because they don't really have the things that we have here either. So I was trying to do office work and some of my work, because I was going to be living out there for a number of months. But small things were harder to do. You know, normal things were harder to do there. The food is different. In so many ways, I don't even know where to begin with that. But the food is different. In short, he loved the food. Some of it. Most of the time. There were some times where, okay, ugali is cool for the first time or two. But after that, it's just kind of hard, because what it is, let me tell you what ugali is. Ugali is... Maybe, are you explaining people the ugali, they know ugali? Oh. Most of them know. Well, maybe somebody from America is watching this. Yeah. Ugali is, fellas, ugali is grits. Okay, you know how you leave your grits though in the pan, and you leave it there and it gets hard, right? That is what they call ugali. Now you're gonna eat the grits like that. You're gonna grab it and you're gonna eat it in chunks, and you're gonna dip it in fish and some sauce, and you're gonna eat it that way. And there's some greens. So that's what they call ugali. So that's something I got used to. But you know, all in all, it was all worth it because it took about, on the American side, it took about maybe a month or a month and a half to get her visa so that she can come back. And I'm gonna tell you what happened on the last day. I'm kind of cutting to the end of the story, but on the last day we were there in Kenya, her passport came back with the visa stamp on it, and it was early in the morning. And we were supposed to leave the next day. And I was so ready to come home that I said, nope, I'm calling Delta right now. If there's any room on the flight tonight, we're leaving tonight. So I called Delta, they had some space. I said, okay, we're packing up, we're going right now. So that was a day before I think we were supposed to leave. Yep. Was it a day before we were supposed to leave? So we said goodbye to everybody.
In short, you didn't tell them about how the process went in the embassy and all that.
Smooth. Well, then it was. I don't know with COVID now, but then it was smooth. Once the U.S. side once I was working with the U.S. side, no problems at all. Communication was excellent. The service at the embassy was excellent. There were no hiccups. The interview only lasted not even 10 minutes because it was clear that I was in love with this woman. We sent in the process, we sent more than enough photos, more than enough like evidence that we've been together for a while, from emails to what else did they ask for? Oh, the lease agreement, the home we were living in. Just a number of different things. Oh,
alien ID.
Yeah, alien ID because I was living there, and some other things. But once they got that, it was easy. It was a piece of cake. The interview came up right away. I think that we submitted the form. The interview came up like 3 weeks later, or a month later, actually. The interview, right?
Oh yeah, when we submitted everything, because in between I had to go for my medical and all that. Yeah, the medical. So I went for my medical, they got the results back, and then that's when they scheduled the interview for us. So after the medical was done, the interview was scheduled like immediately. Yeah. Immediately. So we got the interview. It almost felt like, I'm gonna tell you, it almost felt like I was the only man in Kenya that year that went down to Kenya, lived there, and then went through the embassy to bring my woman back, because there was no queue. There was no wait time whatsoever. We didn't wait when it came to dealing with the embassy. There's no wait at all. So we finally, they made it real easy for us. We got the passport back, and then we jumped on the plane and we came back. And that's the very, very, very short version of the story. I mean, if I'm going to come back here and talk about experiences in Kenya, I can tell you guys some nightmare stories from my perspective, because as I'm American going down there, nightmare. Okay, guys. Thank you, husband. So I told you if he comes here, he'll talk a lot, right? I told you that. You see, he didn't even say all that he wanted to say, because if he starts talking, he'll never finish. So at least he told you part of the experience he had and everything. So this video is almost 20 minutes. It's long. I hope you guys have time to watch it through and I hope you enjoy it. But if you have any questions for him about his experience and all that, let me know. I'll bring him back.
About the passport on the street. I'll tell him about that next week.
Yeah, I'll bring him back and let him explain. But for now, I think we're done for today.
Can we talk about the helper that came to the house?
As I promised, no. As I promised.
What about the goat that we?
You see? Yeah, he has a lot to talk about. The good.
Ask her about the goat.
We'll talk about that next time. Because if we start saying everything else, what are we going to say next time? We won't have anything to say next time, right? So guys, if you have any questions or if you want us to talk about something, please let us know. He's a very good storyteller and he has a lot to say. He hasn't even talked about his experience in Kenya. My goodness. He has a lot to say. So for now, we'll let it go, and then I'll see you guys on the next video. If you have any questions to ask him, let me know, and then I'll prepare him so that he can come back here and tell you about his experience. So we're talking with people who are maybe trying to come here in America, or maybe there are people already here, but maybe those who already, maybe they're in relationships with people in America. Because I'm in America, I can, you know, I can maybe help you. We can help out with the information. So of course we can't put everything out here and all that, but if anyone needs some, you know, like, oh, I need to know what you did, how you went through and all this, I'll be able to help with the information. Just come on my email address, or what, any other way. We're glad to help. For now, we're thankful for you guys for watching the last videos. Yeah, the border, you'll talk about that next time.
The cow on the back.
Yeah, we'll yeah, yeah.
And the couch.
Guys,
They put couches on the back of motorcycles.
maybe that is mode of transportation. That is how people move.
A couch.
Yeah.
On the back of a motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
I seen it with my own eyes. I've seen cows on the back of motorcycles in Kenya.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, I didn't want to interrupt.
He had a pretty good experience in Kenya. Oh my goodness. Please, if you have a boyfriend in America or something, bring them to Kenya. Let them experience the goodness in Africa. You know, see the wild animals in you know, like close. It's so fun to be in Africa. He had a good time, and I'm also having a good time here in America. I'm still learning. There's a lot of things to learn here. Oh my goodness, a lot. I'm still this is my 3rd year here, but I don't even know much things that even have, but I'm getting there. Slowly. He's a good teacher. He's doing a good job. He's teaching me so good. So very soon I'll be, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you continue watching our videos. I'll post up more videos for you guys. Ask me anything. Ask us anything. He has a lot to say still. I'm just trying to make him keep quiet so that he doesn't talk. But thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Please share, subscribe, and turn on your notification buttons when we post the videos so that you watch them. Please. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Say thank you.
Thank you.